Welcome to this workshop. Today we'll explore skills for college success, insight and strategies to help you succeed in college. Succeeding in college requires much more than taking tests or writing essays. Success in college requires building and using success skills. In this video we'll look at some of the essential skills that students will want to develop and maintain in order to succeed both now, in college, and in any future endeavors. Before we dive in, here are a few things to keep in mind. As a college student, you'll need to be aware of the requirements for each of your classes. Give each assignment the time and effort necessary. Effectively manage your time. Take advantage of available resources. Prioritize and plan. And maintain balance between work, school, and your personal life. The responsibilities that come with being a college student may sound overwhelming, but luckily, the Student Success Commons is here to help. As part of our mission, we aim to offer the resources, guidance, and support that students need to reach their academic and personal goals. There are already several helpful resources available at the Student Success Commons, some of which will be mentioned throughout this workshop. Any resources written in this format will be provided in the video description. Although skills for success can be defined and categorized, no single strategy or technique will guarantee success. We are all wired differently. We all have different backgrounds, and different circumstances. So, please keep in mind that all of the suggestions in this video are just that, suggestions. Not all techniques will work as well for one person as they do another. We encourage you to try out some of the techniques and methods shown throughout this video, but keep in mind you can modify any of the strategies to fit your needs. The main success skills covered in this video are self-management, time management, and prioritization, problem solving, and communication. Before we can look at popular topics like time management and prioritization, we must first look at self-management, the foundation of virtually all other success skills. Self-management involves the ability to effectively manage and modify your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in different situations. This includes, among other things, managing stress, motivating yourself, avoiding negative thinking, effectively prioritizing, and staying accountable. Self-management is what will allow you to effectively utilize time management or problem-solving techniques, which is why we must start here. Effective self-management requires two things, self-awareness, and a growth mindset. Let's start with self-awareness, and how it can be increased through self-reflection. Before one can manage their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, one must be aware of them. Individuals with well-developed self-awareness generally have clear goals and values. Acknowledge their strengths and weaknesses. Practice mindfulness, by acknowledging and accepting their feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations at any given moment, without judgment. Are aware of the impact that their actions have on their life, and the lives of others. And, understand how their thoughts, emotions, and actions are interrelated. Self-awareness can be developed and improved by practicing self-reflection. Whereas self-awareness is being aware of one's thoughts, behaviors, feelings, etc., self-reflection involves actively building that awareness. There are many self-reflection techniques, but we'll focus on one in particular, record keeping. Keep a record of your thoughts and feelings, to help you build your self-awareness, and identify any patterns. Ideally you will self-reflect daily, but you can do it multiple times a day, once a week, or anytime you feel a strong emotion, either positive or negative. In your self-reflection record, try to identify the situation. Describe the time, location, what you were doing, what happened, or didn't happen. Your thoughts at the time. It's not always easy to identify each of the thoughts that may affect your feelings and actions, but there are tools to help, such as the self-reflection worksheet. Your feelings. Develop an emotional vocabulary and use it to describe how you felt during the situation. It's not uncommon to experience multiple emotions, be sure to include all of them. Include any physical sensations as well. Your actions. Include how you behaved, what you did, or even what you wanted to do. This self-reflection strategy is based on the CBT cycle, which illustrates how thoughts, emotions, and behaviors affect one another. Thousands of research trials have demonstrated the efficacy of this model, and it was proven to be incredibly helpful to college students, especially those prone to anxiety, stress, or depression. Identifying thoughts is often the most difficult part of self-reflection. Many of us have automatic thoughts that we are not consciously aware of. Automatic thoughts are usually based on assumptions, or previous experience. When we encounter a stimuli that triggers an automatic thought, most of us don't actively take note of it, and instead are much more aware of how it makes us feel and act. If you find it difficult to identify and interpret how and what you think, try using a self-reflection worksheet. With time and introspection, you can improve your ability to identify your feelings and the thoughts causing them. You can also increase your skill in finding more positive and productive ways to redirect negative or unwanted thoughts, therefore creating more desirable outcomes. Being willing to modify one's thoughts, emotions, and actions is part of having a growth mindset, an important component of self-management. A person with a growth mindset will view intelligence, abilities, and skills as learnable. They realize they are capable of improvement through time and effort. On the other hand, someone with a fixed mindset thinks of those same traits as inherently fixed and unchangeable. Here are some examples of the kinds of thoughts and attitudes a fixed mindset might produce, versus the outlook that comes with a more desirable, growth mindset. Self-awareness skills and a growth mindset go hand in hand. Awareness of your strengths, coupled with a growth mindset, will allow you to efficiently utilize and build them. Being aware of your weaknesses, and having the attitude that these can be improved upon will allow you to seek out assistance and resources before you begin to struggle, and prevent you from giving up. Knowing what usually causes you to feel stress or anxiety will enable you to prepare de-escalation strategies, or have support standing by, while having a growth mindset will allow you to see challenges as potential opportunities for improvement. Being aware of what you need is key to self-advocacy. Being in tune with, and aware of your needs as a student, is the first step to seeing to those needs. And, being aware of, and able to think about the consequences of your actions helps you make decisions now, that will be beneficial in the future. One of the key differences between people who do, and don't succeed, lies not in their intelligence or abilities, but in their effort, and motivation levels. Simply knowing something, like how to improve your self-awareness, and the benefits of having a growth mindset, isn't enough. Action needs to be taken in order to see any results. Being able to motivate yourself is a vital skill in college, but one that many students find difficult. There are several valid reasons for this. The 3 most common obstacles are discussed in getting started. In this workshop, we'll look at a few of the most time-honored, general strategies for building your ability to motivate yourself. First, identify the cause behind your lack of motivation. Identifying the root cause will allow you to start there, and work your way up. Understanding why you don't naturally feel motivated, and energized to work on something will allow you to tackle that problem first, enabling you to work smarter, not harder. Remember, no matter how much you step on the gas, if there is something wrong with the car, it won't move. Before you can go anywhere, you need to figure out what the car needs, perhaps gas, oil, new tires, etc. Figure out what's keeping you from moving, and see to that issue first. See undesirable tasks as stepping stones. Every task you complete can bring you one step closer to your ultimate goal, in one way or another. Keep this fact in mind to help you push yourself to work on assignments and activities you dislike, and may feel inclined to postpone or skip over. Another key to self-motivation is to set clear, reasonable, and attainable expectations and goals. Make sure what you want to accomplish, and when, is clear. You need to set aside a reasonable amount of time to work on any task you must complete. Giving yourself 30 minutes to watch 3 45-minute videos is simply unreasonable, and unattainable. Similarly, setting a goal of keeping up with the class assignments is too vague, with no clear structure. It's important to be clear, and reasonable regarding what you expect of yourself. Make sure your specific task, or part of an assignment, is clearly outlined. You know what you need to do, you know when you plan to do it, and you know how long you plan to take. Break overwhelming tasks down into smaller, manageable segments. Many times, a student will put off, or avoid something that they find overwhelming. But even the most daunting assignments can be broken down into smaller, actionable steps. The Student Success Commons provides a project breakdown, a worksheet to help you do just this. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into small manageable tasks, and then starting on the first one. Visualize the task from start to finish. Once you've broken your task down into manageable steps, visualize yourself taking these steps, one at a time. Imagine how you feel having the weight of an undesirable task taken off your shoulders. Use positive self-talk. Replace, "I have to," or "I should," self-talk with, "I am choosing to, because," or "I want to, because." For example, instead of saying, "I have to finish this paper, or else I will get a 0, try saying, "I'm going to choose to work on this paper now, because I want to do well in this class, and I will feel relieved when it's done." Take it slow. If you have trouble either getting started, or staying motivated, work in small periods of time, even 5, 10 or 15-minute bursts can be productive, and allow you to chip away at a task without becoming overwhelmed, or losing focus. Remember the if-thens. You know that if you go to work, then you'll get paid. Similarly, you know that if you start working on your assignment on time, then you will likely finish it, and have the best chance of getting a good grade. Additionally, if you finish your assignment, or whatever task you have planned, then you can engage in a recreational activity. Another key skill for college success is time management. Those who manage their time efficiently are generally adept at being aware of their responsibilities, prioritizing, planning and follow-through, limiting distractions and staying focused, creating and maintaining a system of organization and structure. Let's look at some techniques and strategies that can help you build these skills. As mentioned earlier, being a college student comes with a number of responsibilities. Your syllabus will contain valuable information regarding what is expected of you as a student, so be sure to read it thoroughly, and keep it close by for reference throughout the semester. You'll also need to keep tabs on important dates and upcoming assignments. We'll look at communication skills more later, but for now it's important to note that staying in contact with your instructor throughout the semester is another responsibility. They can let you know if your work is satisfactory, or if you are missing something. You'll also want to let your instructor know if you're going to miss class, or if you are having difficulties. They are there to help. If you are ever unsure of what is expected of you, it's best to ask someone instead of struggling alone. Once you know what you have to do, make sure to keep track of these tasks, assignments, and responsibilities. This is where to-do lists generally come into play. Making a to-do list is easy, but to make one that actually increases your productivity, please refer to the helpful tips in the to-do list do's and don'ts, and 5 kinds of lists to make every semester, available from the SSC. Before you decide where you write your to-do list, bear in mind that you'll need to keep it with you all day. If you are frequently using your tablet, smartphone, or computer, you may want to use an app that syncs across all devices. For example, the Microsoft To-Do app is available for free, and can be downloaded on your PC, Android, or iOS device. Best of all, you should be able to log in using your YCCC email, for added organizational benefits. Whether you choose an app, or pen and paper, just make sure you keep your list with you throughout the day, and check it frequently to ensure you're staying on track. Prioritizing is the act of determining the order for dealing with a series of items or tasks, according to their relative importance. Not only is prioritizing a key component of time management, it also helps provide direction and balance in all aspects of one's life. Prioritizing 101 is a guide available from the SSC that lists 5 simple tips students can employ to improve their prioritization skills. If you download this resource, you'll see that tip number 1 is write it all down, which we've already touched on with to-do lists. Tip number 2 is identify what's important. One of the most popular and effective methods for doing this is the priority, or Eisenhower matrix method. We'll take a quick look at it now, but for a more detailed explanation of this tool, as well as an example of how a student might use it, Check out the Eisenhower matrix. Here's a brief overview of how the Eisenhower matrix works. You will create 4 sections. Section 1 is where you list your time-sensitive and important tasks. These are things that can significantly impact your future, and must be completed as soon as possible. Section 2 is where important, but not time-sensitive tasks are placed. These tasks are necessary, but you have several days or weeks before they're due. These tasks should be scheduled. Avoid the "I'll have time to do that later" attitude, and instead set aside specific time in your schedule to work on these tasks. Section 3 is where the time-sensitive, but not so important tasks go. These are tasks that must be done as soon as possible, but not doing them will not hinder your goals. For these tasks, try figuring out the essentials needed for the task to be considered complete, and just do these. The final section is where tasks that are neither important, nor time-sensitive are placed. Avoid doing these tasks unless all the tasks in the other 3 sections are completely finished. Once you've determined what you have to do, and you've prioritized, it's time to get to work. There are different time management techniques that work well in different scenarios, for different people. Here are 4 of the most common and useful methods. Our next vital skill for success is problem solving. Every college student, in fact every person, will encounter some kind of problem at some point. To keep a problem from stopping you in your tracks, try the 6 steps to problem solving method. Define, determine, brainstorm, plan, act, and evaluate. Step 1. Define. In this first step, you define the problem. Include any relevant facts, but be concise. Try to answer the question, "What is the problem?" in one sentence. In addition to defining the problem, in step 1 you also want to define your goal. Having a clear understanding of the problem, and how you want things to change, is the first step to solving a problem. Step 2. Determine. Now that you clearly understand both the problem and your goal, it may be tempting to skip straight to enacting a solution. But doing so without first identifying the root cause of the problem means it could easily come back in the future. Like in medicine, doctors aim to cure the condition, not just treat the symptoms. Treating symptoms helps in the short run, but it doesn't eliminate the real reason for the problem. Recognizing the underlying issue allows you to target, and eliminate, the root of the problem. Depending on your situation, there may be a number of root causes for a problem. Lack of information, medical conditions, stress, disinterest, lack of organization, misunderstandings, etc. To determine the root cause, or causes, of whatever problem you face, you may have to brainstorm a bit, to sufficiently dig deep enough to find the culprit, or culprits. Step 3. Brainstorm. Now it's time to start thinking of possible solutions. What paths can you take to get from problem to goal? Try to keep in mind the information you've outlined in steps 1 and 2. The goal, the problem, and the root cause. Pay special attention to step 2, because the root cause will need to be tackled. This is a brainstorming session, so don't rule out any ideas just yet. Keep an open mind. You'll evaluate the possible solutions later. For this step, just write down whatever comes to you. Writing down your ideas is an important step, especially if you're dealing with a complicated issue. It helps you to see everything clearly, and it will make it easier to choose the right solution, and take action. Step 4. Plan. After brainstorming, start to evaluate your potential solutions. Which idea seems the most feasible? Ask yourself questions like, can this solution be implemented in the time frame available? Is it practical? Will I need additional resources to make this plan work, and if so, can I obtain them? Will this plan allow me to deal with the root problem? Will this plan help me reach my ultimate goal? Using these questions, try to determine which idea from your brainstorming list can be turned into a plan, and take time to build this plan. Figure out what steps you will need to take, and in what order, what materials or resources you'll need, and what timetable with which you have to work. Step 5. Act. Now that you've taken your idea, and turned it into a plan, it's time to put that plan into action. Remember, action must come after planning, so don't skimp on step 4. As you put your plan into action, keep in mind that it may not be flawless. You may need to make adjustments or modifications to your plan. Which brings us to step 6. Step 6. Evaluate. Now it's time to review the results. What happened after you implemented your plan? Was the problem solved? If so, wonderful. But if not, don't despair. Simply cycle back around, and repeat the process. But first, try to identify what didn't work. Did you not account for something? How can you take what you learned from this attempt and devise a new solution? Don't give up if your first try at problem solving didn't work out as well in real life as it did on paper. Usually there is more than one road to success, and if you keep looking, you can find it. This problem-solving method may seem overly simplistic, but it is highly effective. It's been used by everyone from college students to CEOs. Whether you're stuck on an assignment, unsure of how to meet expectations at school or work, or need to find a way to handle a stressful situation, the next time you encounter a problem, give this method a try. The final success skill for this workshop is communication. Communication skills include not only speaking, but also reading, writing, and listening. Being an effective communicator means being able to actively listen and understand, clearly express yourself, both verbally and in written form, and comprehend written information. Here are a few practical tips for improving these vital communication skills. Practice active listening. Engage with what people say by asking follow-up questions, and taking notes. Whenever reasonable, try repeating information back to the person speaking, to ensure you understood their meaning. Much of the information presented to you in college will be in written form, so reading comprehension is an incredibly important skill to develop. Practice reading aloud, as well as rephrasing information in your own words. Avoid skimming, or skipping over information to ensure you don't miss out on something important. Written communication is also an integral part of college life. You can expect to write emails, essays, speeches, discussion posts, etc. To improve your writing skills, you will want to have a good foundation. Review grammar and spelling basics. Proofread. Reading your written words aloud can help you pick up on any errors you may have otherwise missed. Get feedback. You can get feedback from your instructor, classmates, or a writing tutor.